Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. We've got gorgeous weather in the middle of the week. So the reason I'm doing this vlog is nothing to do with the week. It's all about this weekend severe weather risk. So we're going to focus on that. Get outside and enjoy today though, because it is absolutely gorgeous. ACC tournament going on and temperatures about as nice as you're going to see it. Here we are. I'm doing this around 11:30, 11:45. We'll get the 11 a.m. numbers here shortly. But boy, is it nice out there. Temperatures in almost all areas are generally in the 60s. We're warming up quickly into the 70s. I'll quickly turn the temperatures on because it is just absolutely beautiful out there. It's just going to be a great stretch of weather today with all this warm air across the south. So we're going to kind of get things cooked up here with a spring-like pattern. And then we're watching a big storm system that's coming in from the west coast. And that's going to be our big weather maker going into the weekend. So let's quickly look at those severe weather outlooks. So we will immediately start with what we call day 3 outlook, which is going to be Friday. So this is this Friday. Today is the 12th. That means that's going to be the 14th. You can see we've got in our book right now, we've got a low, medium, and higher risk across the middle Mississippi River Valley. So that's day 3. This is Friday. Saturday, that risk begins to shift to the east. You could see the 15% chance or the low and the medium risk down across the south. So Saturday, we expect some severe storms to try to make a run, especially at the mountains and foothills. We're going to have a really warm, humid air mass because this low pressure system is a monster low pressure system. It's going to be like a big gear in the atmosphere, and it's going to pull up a lot of warm, humid air. It's also going to be producing a whole bunch of wind energy. So we've got all of that going for us for severe weather risk going into the weekend. So Saturday, definitely have a low risk for the western sections. But Sunday, to me right now, and especially Sunday morning. So listen to the timing here. It's still a little uncertain, but it definitely looks like it's going to be a Saturday night, Sunday morning time frames. So this is going to be an overnight, early morning setup, and this is the Sunday outlook right now. Now, if we look at some of the longer range, what we call AI, we use some machine learning to kind of figure out the severe weather outlook. I'm going to move my head out of the way. I'll push it over here because just to kind of quickly kind of pinpoint what's going on. So this is the Friday outlook up here in the upper right-hand corner. You could see the probabilities of severe. This is from the European ensembles. We go into Saturday, look at some of the probabilities of severe weather, definitely higher than the SPC outlook. And then Sunday, you could see most of our areas in that 30 to 45% range. And just to give you in complete transparency, this is model guidance kind of looking at blending the ensembles and giving an idea of the severe weather outlook. Let me show you the Storm Prediction Center outlook. You can see how they reflect the same area. So it's something we're certainly going to have to watch this Saturday into Sunday timeframe. And that's the two screens above my head. So right here, this is Saturday and this is Sunday. So you get the idea this system's going to be moving across the Carolinas sometime between Saturday and Sunday. So let's get to the bigger picture here. This is the wide view. I'm going to back it up here. You can see the system coming out of the Rockies right here on Friday. This is a big low pressure system, basically over eastern Nebraska. And with something this strong, you can see all these lines of equal pressure, we call them isobars, bringing in warm, humid air and a whole bunch of wind shear. So I'm going to show you the surface map first, and we're going to get into the wind energy. So we go through Saturday. You see the storms developing across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, likely all modes of severe weather, squall line, some supercells. But eventually this will kind of what we call form into a QLCS, a squall line with kinks in it, Saturday night into Sunday morning. So this is like 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. The storms are entering the mountains. And then we get up on Sunday morning right here. I'm going to pause this, back it up just a hair. I'm going to stop this roughly at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. And you can see we're likely going to have some type of storms moving across our area. Let's quickly look at the sounding, which is a profile of the atmosphere. And you'll see that we've got a whole bunch of wind energy. At the surface, the winds are out of the south, but you go up to 1 kilometer, they're out of the southwest. Around 3 kilometers, they're coming from the southwest. And we've got kind of what we call a loaded gun sounding here. The hodograph's got a curve to the right. These are all things I look for a lot of wind shear. We've got the potential for strong storms, severe storms, possibly even supercells as this moves through. That's the surface. The thing that really catches you when you start looking at some of the guidance are the winds up there. We call it the low-level jet at around 3,500 feet to 5,000 feet. These will be closer to 5,000 feet. So these are just above our heads, basically at mountain level. Watch this system come out. Look at all this wind energy transferring to the east. Most of the energy goes up into the Midwest, but I want to show you here going into Saturday night, Sunday morning, a surge of high winds come into the southern Appalachians. And you can see that that's a lot of wind right there. You're talking 70, 80 mile per hour winds up around 5,000 feet. And with thunderstorms moving in, that's going to mix those winds down to the surface. So even without severe weather, there would be a huge wind risk with this. The concern I have is if there's enough instability, which is that thunderstorm fuel, right? That's the warm, humid air at the surface, even in the morning hours. Don't need a bunch because there's so much wind energy. If you think about severe weather ingredients, I think people mistakenly just say it's cold air clashing with warm air. It's really not that at all. What it is warm, humid air at the surface, which you need, but you also need the jet stream above. And sometimes at the surface, that's reflected in a strong cold front. But in reality, it's the strong winds aloft over the top of really warm air. And that's why in the spring, we get so much severe weather because we get that wintertime jet stream, which is the strongest of the year. And we start to see warm, humid air in the spring come up at the surface. And when they overlap, that's when we have issues. So oftentimes, if you have just a little bit of warm air, but you have so much wind energy, it can make up for the other. So in this case, we've got so much wind energy, it might not really matter how much fuel we have. So look at all that wind energy. And just to give you an idea, we'll look at the fuel at the surface. We call it cape. Bring this cape in here, and this is basically thunderstorm fuel. You see that big plume coming up here, and notice there's not a ton. I mean, this is Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon. Very little amounts. In fact, I'll show you just 300 or 400 joules per kilogram. Not that's the metric we use, but that's pretty low. Typically, you want about 1,500 or more, but that's just enough combined with that wind energy. But we've got this mixed layer cape, which is moisture, humid, kind of warm air just off the surface, and that's kind of weird to see that much elevated cape come in, and there's some there as well. So all the ingredients, what this amounts to is that we've got the potential, especially Saturday into Sunday, and I'm thinking Sunday morning right now, for severe storms. So we're going to want you to stay weather aware. It is the weekend. A lot of people will be doing other things, not paying attention to the weather. Today is Wednesday. So what I'm doing right now is I want you to pay attention to the weather this weekend, especially Saturday night into Sunday. Charlotte FC's got a home game, likely going to be okay. It'll be windy and warm. Can't rule out a stray shower or storm, but the game will be probably out of this risk. It's going to be more early Sunday morning. So early Sunday morning church services are what we're going to be focused on going forward. Of course, I'll have updates. We've got several days to watch this. Beautiful today. Enjoy the warm weather. It's gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous through the rest of the week. But then we turn our attention to spring-like thunderstorms by the weekend.